The town of Fairview had its secrets. Most were whispered, some forgotten, and one buried behind rusted gates and walls of ivy. Ashridge High. Abandoned for 30 years after a fire claimed 13 lives, it was now a crumbling monument to silence. Locals claimed to hear voices echoing through its halls on cold nights. Children dared each other to climb its gates, but never crossed them. Except tonight. 5 friends, Liam, Ava, Noah, Sienna, and Jake, stood before the wrought iron gates under the sallow glow of a crescent moon. They were 17, bound by the reckless courage of youth and a shared thirst for something more than the dull rhythm of small-town life. Last chance to back out, Liam grinned, his breath forming wisps in the cold September air. Are you kidding? We're doing this, Ava shot back, tucking a strand of black hair under her beanie. We promised. Sienna shivered and looked up at the decaying building beyond the gates. It's not too late to change our minds. People died in there. Exactly why we have to go, Noah replied, his camera swinging from his neck. Urban explorers go viral with places like this. We'll be legends. Jake, usually the quiet one, adjusted his backpack and said nothing. His silence was answer enough. The lock on the gate had long since rusted through. It gave way with a metallic groan. As they stepped inside, the night seemed to grow colder, the moonlight swallowed by the looming carcass of Ashridge High. The air inside smelled of rot and smoke, as if the fire still lingered in the walls. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing peeling paint, smashed windows, and graffiti scrawled across long-forgotten hallways. Creepy as hell, Liam muttered, but there was excitement in his voice. They moved cautiously, floorboards creaking beneath their sneakers. Noah filmed everything, narrating like a host. Welcome to Ashridge High, closed in 1995 after the mysterious fire that killed 13 students. Locals claim their spirits still. Ava punched his arm. Shut up, you'll jinx it. They turned into what had once been the main corridor. Lockers stood ajar, their doors warped with age. A faded banner still clung to the ceiling. Go Ashridge Eagles. Look, Sienna whispered, pointing to a small handprint smeared in something dark on the wall. Probably just paint, Jake said, though his voice lacked conviction. They reached the old auditorium, a yawning space with rows of broken seats and a collapsed stage curtain. It was colder here, much colder. Ava rubbed her arms. Why is it freezing, she asked. We're indoors. Liam scanned the room. Maybe it's a draft. Then came the first sign, soft, distant laughter. A child's laugh, light and playful. It echoed through the auditorium and vanished. Did you hear that? Sienna's voice trembled. Probably an animal, Noah said too quickly. But deep down, they all knew. That wasn't an animal. They decided to split up, a decision they would regret. Liam and Ava took the east wing, while Noah, Sienna, and Jake explored the west. The plan was to regroup in 30 minutes. Liam pushed open a classroom door, flashlight beam sweeping over toppled desks and shattered glass. Imagine studying here every day, he said. Ava knelt by a half-burned notebook. Its pages were brittle but legible. They keep us after the bell. The whispers won't stop. Creepy, she muttered, sliding it into her bag. Meanwhile, Noah's group had found room 217, a classroom untouched by vandalism. Desks were neatly arranged, chalk still clung to the board, and a faint smell of lilies filled the air. This place feels wrong, Jake said. Noah set up his camera on a tripod, which means we're in the right place. Sienna's flashlight flickered. Once, twice, then died. Darkness swallowed the room. Not funny, she hissed. I didn't do anything, Noah said. His light still worked, for now. The temperature plummeted. Breath fogged the air. A child's whisper floated through the darkness. Stay and play. Sienna screamed as small, cold fingers brushed her ankle. She backed against the wall, flashlight trembling in her hands as it sputtered back to life. There was nothing there. They regrouped, shaken but unwilling to admit it. Ava showed the notebook she'd found. Noah replayed a clip from his camera. Faint laughter echoed, even though none of them had made a sound. They gathered in the library to rest and go over what they had. The books were charred and brittle, but one shelf had survived the flames. Behind a row of encyclopedias, Jake found a small, leather-bound diary. It belonged to Clara Hayes, a student from 1995. Her last entry was dated the night of the fire. They say the school is haunted. that something older than us lives beneath the basement. We thought it was a joke. But now, students are vanishing. The teachers act strange. And the voices, they won't stop. If anyone reads this, don't go to the basement. It's where it started. It's where they live. Liam exhaled. Basement. That's where we're going. Are you insane? Sienna said. The girl literally said not to. That's exactly why we have to. If something's down there, we need to know. Ava's lips tightened. We came this far. Let's finish it. The basement door was in the north wing, chained and padlocked. Jake smashed it open with a rusted fire extinguisher. The air that drifted out was damp and foul, like a grave. The stairs creaked under their weight as they descended into the dark. The deeper they went, the colder it grew. Their flashlights barely cut through the gloom. At the bottom, they found a corridor lined with storage rooms. Strange symbols were painted on the walls, circles, runes, and spirals that seemed to pulse under the light. What the hell is this? Noah whispered. A cult, Ava said. Some kind of ritual. They pushed forward until they reached a heavy metal door. Words were scratched into the steel. We never left. Liam forced it open. Beyond was a vast chamber, the remnants of an old fallout shelter, converted into something else. The walls were covered in the same symbols, and in the center stood a charred wooden altar. Dried blood stained the floor. Then they saw them. 13 silhouettes lined the back wall. Human shapes. Motionless. Mannequins. Jake asked. One of them moved. Chapter 6. The 13. The figures stepped forward into the light. Students in tattered uniforms, faces half-burned, eyes black voids. They hovered just above the ground, silent and swaying. Sienna gasped. The fire, the 13 students. Clara Hayes was among them. You shouldn't have come, she whispered. Her voice echoed in their minds rather than their ears. Now you're part of it. The room exploded into chaos. Lights flickered. The walls seemed to breathe. Noah's camera shattered against the floor as an unseen force hurled him into the wall. Blood dripped from his forehead. Jake screamed as icy hands grabbed his ankles and dragged him across the floor. Ava lunged to help, but the hands were too strong. He vanished into the darkness, his screams abruptly cut off. Jake! Liam shouted. The door slammed shut behind them. There was no escape. The ghost closed in, circling them. Clara stepped forward, her burned face inches from Sienna's. They burned us to stop the ritual. But it was too late. We are bound to this place. Bound to feed it. What do you mean? Ava cried. The school, Clara said. It is alive. It hungers. Every generation, it calls. And the curious always answer. The floor split open, revealing a chasm of writhing darkness. A voice, ancient and hungry, rose from below. Flesh. Memory. Soul. Noah, still conscious, grabbed Liam's arm. We have to run. But there was nowhere to run. Sienna screamed as shadowy tendrils wrapped around her, pulling her toward the pit. Liam tried to hold on, but she slipped through his grasp and was gone. Chapter 8. Final Bell. Only 3 remained. Liam, Ava, and Noah, cornered by the spirits of Ashridge High. We have to end it, Ava said. The altar, destroy it. They lunged toward the charred structure. Liam swung a rusted pipe, shattering the altar into splinters. For a moment, the screaming stopped. The ghosts froze. Then the walls groaned. You cannot stop what has no beginning, Clara hissed. You are ours now. The chamber convulsed. Cracks spread across the floor. The ceiling collapsed. Noah was crushed beneath falling debris, his scream cut short. Liam grabbed Ava's hand. We're getting out of here. They ran. Through the twisting corridors, up the stairs, through the halls that now pulsed like living veins. The exit was in sight. Just a few more steps. Ava stumbled. Cold hands erupted from the floor and grabbed her ankles. Liam, she screamed. He turned back, pulling with all his strength. But the darkness swallowed her whole. Ava. Her scream echoed until it was swallowed by silence. Epilogue, the 13th. Weeks later, police found no trace of the 5 teenagers. Their footage ended abruptly in the basement of Ashridge High. Only the broken camera remained, still recording the static of the void. The town mourned, then moved on. They always did. And inside the abandoned school, the walls whispered again. In the chamber below, 14 figures now stood. Among them was Liam, eyes black, face blank, waiting for the next group of curious souls to arrive. Ashridge was patient, and it was always hungry.